Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out this morning. We're running a little bit behind. I think that's purely down to the volume of attendees. It really is great to see so many people on the session this morning, and I suppose from a wide variety of market units, it's fair to say. Delighted to be joined by two of my colleagues, Ahmed and Nikolai. My name is John Clifford, based in Dublin. And have been responsible, I suppose, for organising and facilitating this morning's sessions. As I said, joined by two of my colleagues, Ahmed and Nikolai, who are both sitting in sunny Copenhagen this morning. Just going to do a little bit of housekeeping just before we get things underway. Just firstly, this morning's session will be recorded, so we're more than happy to share the recording with anyone after this morning's session. Also happy to take some questions after the session. Also, if you're interested in learning, I suppose, a little bit more about Gavdi, but also, I suppose, more specifically on this morning's topic, SAP SuccessFactors, time management. Happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm just going to get straight into the agenda to give people an idea of what we're going to cover this morning. So going to talk a little bit, I suppose, firstly about Gavdi Group as an organisation and who we are and what we do, for those of you who may not be familiar with us. Then I'm also going to pass it over to my colleague Nikolai Janning. I'll introduce you to Nikolai shortly, but Nikolai is just going to give everyone an overview, I suppose, what is SAP SuccessFactors time management. And on that note, we will hand it over to Ahmed, who is one of our time tracking experts and has been involved in several implementations of late. And Ahmed will give you, I suppose, a 35,000 viewpoint of what is time tracking, what does it look like, and what are the benefits of it, and also talk about, I suppose, some use cases that he's worked on, do some key takeaways, and a Q&A session at the end. So, who are Gavdi? Gavdi is an SAP Gold Partner. We're in the SAP space now for, I think, somewhere 23 years. We're a little bit different to other SAP partners in the sense that our focus has always just been on HR. So when I talk about HR, we talk about SAP HR, Hybris HR, and I suppose what's relevant to today is cloud and SAP SuccessFactors. We're unique also in the sense that we're employee owned. We're still owned and managed by original founder, a gentleman called Mr. Søren Koppelhaus. Fair to say that over the last 20 plus years, we've expanded quite aggressively in the sense of today. We're just over 285 employees, and we are located right across EMEA North, and have 15 offices, in 11 different countries. Also worth noting that, I suppose, during the course of the time that we've been in operation, we've implemented over 600 projects with 600 individual customers, and that would also, I suppose, give you an idea of the wide range of customers, industries, and different sectors that we have operated in. Over the past couple of years, I think we've pivoted a little bit, and I think it's fair to say that a lot of that has been driven by customer demand, in the sense today we really do offer what we call total workforce management solutions. And when I talk about total workforce management solutions, I'm talking about, I suppose, solutions that complement SAP factors, whether it's SAP Concur, or more recent partnership that we've gone on to is also with SAP Litmus around learning, but we also have a ServiceNow practice, and we also have quite a significant, I suppose, sister company that is responsible for innovating products that we see as those gaps in SAP SuccessFactors, and that organization has a selection of products called PXM Soft, which covers everything from compliance to learning to document management. And I think we'll also maybe touch a little on that, but that's very much about, I suppose, niche products that fill gaps within SuccessFactors. So what do we do? I mean, primarily, we're HR advisors and implementation partners. We offer licenses and subscriptions. We are, I suppose, we describe ourselves as HR experts. but also have a significant support offering as well around our SuccessFactors practice, and we call that AV. You can see some of our customers listed below. It's just a selection, really, just to give you a flavor of who we worked with. So without any further ado, I'm going to go over and pass it over to my two colleagues. I might ask them both actually just to give them maybe a short intro about who they are and what they do within Gavdi. So good morning, Nikolai.
Morning, John.
How are you?
All good, thanks. Sun is
Good.
shining here in Denmark, so I cannot complain about that. And thank you for the introduction to Gavdi. My name is Nikolai. I am the head of SuccessFactors within Gavdi Group. I've been working with HR system and SuccessFactors for the last 10 years and is also a professional certified consultant. And I will do an overview of what is SAP SuccessFactors time management, as really my impression when talking to customers is that it's somewhat up in the air. What is it that time management can do? What can time off do? What is this new time tracking feature? And how does this fit into the overall landscape of HR technology? So I will try to do a quick introduction before we dive into the really interesting details by Ahmad later on.
Great. Thanks, Nikolai. Great to have you on the call this morning. Good morning, Ahmad. You might give us a quick intro about who you are and what you do as well, please.
Yes, John. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is Ahmad. I am based in Denmark, working for Gavdi for last 7 years as a solution architect. I also have experience working on the different HR systems in my career. I'm certified in Employee Central Time Off, and have extensive work experience for implementing time management modules for companies in Denmark and across the Europe. And today I'm going to present some of the time tracking functionalities and also going to demo something in the system. So, yeah.
Great, Ahmad. Thanks a million. Look forward to it. Mr. Yanning, the floor is yours. Let me run the slides for you and I'll kick it off.
Thank you, John. So we most likely all of us on this call know about the HXM suite by SuccessFactors that really end-to-end supports every aspect of an important HR process. So we have onboarding, we have master data, recruiting, learning, succession, career development, performance goals, and rewards. And over the last couple of, I would say, 5 to 10 years, customers have been embarking on a digital HR transformation into the cloud, focusing on talent and master data processes. And what is missing in this journey is really the ability to run efficient time management processes. So usually when I talk to organizations, they have a full suite SuccessFactors implementation, but they still run local time systems and local payroll systems, which really does not give the economy of scale when looking at a total integrated HR platform. And those organizations might be based in Europe, multiple countries, or might be global. And there is really a benefit of going to the cloud with time as well. There are also these common perceptions about time in SuccessFactors is not mature enough, it's not complex enough to support the organization needs, and that's why many stick to their old on-prem maybe CAT solution or again, as I said, local time management solutions. So what is really good is that SuccessFactors can now actually support this in a better way, because when we focus on the challenges around time management, which is described on the next slide we see, that is, as I said, it's time management is decentral local processes. There's lack of transparency. It might not be compliant. And again, the economy of scale by having, let's say, 5, 10, 15 local time systems doesn't really bring any benefit to the organization and to the people using it, because they might be global managers having people working in different countries and in different geographies across the organization. We also see post-COVID that we have a mobile and global workforce, and we need to look at when do they work and from where do they work? And this is where time tracking really comes into the picture. So a lot of challenges around managing employee time, including transparency and ease of use. And luckily, we have time management in SuccessFactors to help us on that journey. So once we look at the next slide about what is it time management is, I would like to clarify any misunderstandings or maybe different perceptions about what is this really we are talking about. So we have two elements for time management. The first one is Employee Central Time Off. That is the module, you could say, that administer absences through a standard implementation with best practice package solution by Gavdi and potentially also best practice by SAP. So as we all know, SAP SuccessFactors are very good on localization across the globe, and this is now also available for time off. So you can actually implement a time off solution for your country by using a best practice solution and be live within 6 to 8 weeks. There has also been these misunderstandings about time off might not be complex enough, it cannot support our needs. It cannot, for instance, in Denmark, support the new Vacation Act, but in fact, all of that is wrong. Time off is a really, really good, robust, and complex solution, allowing you to administer absence. Next to that, we have time tracking, which is the opposite of absence, but tracking attendance. And this is the solution where employees can record when they worked, potentially also where they worked. And what we can do now is actually do a real-time valuation in the cloud. So you can actually take your old on-prem time valuation and you can put it into time tracking. All of that, of course, works fully integrated with SAP Payroll and Employee Central Payroll. But it's good to understand that these are the two pieces we are talking about. Customers looking to implement time for attendance should aim for time tracking, giving the most robust and future-proof solution. And if you want to implement absence processes, you look at the time off. So that allows us to have a single platform on the next slide, John. We see here, so time off, holiday calendars, absence management through time accounts, and we can buy and sell leave if we want to. For time tracking, we have time recording, we have overtime calculations, pay type generation, cost center allocation. We can in fact do a simple CAT solution with a VBS structure, so work breakdown structure, if we want to do that in time tracking. We have the clock in, clock out functionality, we have flex time, and we do the time valuation here. All of that works together with the SuccessFactors platform with integration possibilities, with the native mobile app, workflows approvals, and of course, reporting through people analytics. So what are we missing here? Well, usually when I talk to organizations, they say it's fine that we can do all of this, but how do we plan employees' working time? And this is where, as John mentioned, we have a subsidiary called PXMsoft that delivers product on the business technology platform. And we have developed a planning solution that can allow you to plan employees' shift and thereby their working time. That is on, we see the next slide here, where we see the Gavdi Easy Planner. Managers have easy, fast access to their teams. Even when managing multiple teams, we can schedule shifts, including cost estimations, and we can also allow employees to access the shift planning tool and switch shifts between themselves with an approval if they want to do that, and we have a clear overview. The architecture behind this is that we do the planning in the Gavdi Easy Planner, and that creates a work schedule, which we can then send to time tracking, allowing employees to record their time, either on SuccessFactors mobile version, on the desktop through browser, or via terminals in clock-in, clock-out scenarios. So this is a really good tool to extend your time management processes and having that go-to solution for everything. So to round it off, time management in SuccessFactors is unique, it's comprehensive, it's flexible, it can be complex, we can do time valuation, we can do complex time off rules. It is upgraded twice a year, as you know, with the release schedule, continuous improvement. It's mobile first enabled on the native app. It's localized together with the rest of the suite, and it is built for an ecosystem running your talent processes, master data, time, and payroll in an integrated suite. So with that said, I hope you have got an overview of what is time management in SuccessFactors, and now we want to look into the time tracking piece. So Ahmad, I'd like to hand it over to you, so you can take us through what is SuccessFactors time tracking.
Thank you, Nikolai. Over to you, Ahmad.
Thank you, Nikolai, for the introduction of time management. So today I'm going to present you the functionalities of time tracking. So it is one of the part of the time management. So as Nicola explained, we have time off, we have time shift functionality, and then we have a time tracking functionality, which is nothing but the extension to the basic time sheet process. So this solution now covers all relevant steps from your time punch data at the terminals to the payment of the employees. And it provides the framework where we can configure and extend the solution based on the local regulations, company requirements based on the country. And this solution is very flexible and easy to access from your web browser and also from the mobile app. And as you can see on the screenshot, it's very easy for managers to generate the reports based on the time evaluation. Next slide, John. Yeah. So on this slide, you can see that this slide shows the timesheet screen where employee now can input their clock in and clock out time. So this is the additional screen where employee can go and capture their clock in and clock out time, and it can be configured based on the employee groupings. So for example, if some employees have things like business travel or additional breaks, you can create the time event types for the employees based on the employee group, and then they can capture those time events. And once they capture that time events, the the system will calculate their actual time worked based on the logic we have built in the system. So this solution can be used for different types of employees. So we don't have to use different systems for different requirements. So now this single solution can provide all the different requirements we have in the company. And also we can we can attach the approval workflow. So if you have a certain requirements for certain type of data capture that needs to be evaluated, that needs to be approved before the evaluation, then we can put some of the approval workflows in the system. Next slide. Yeah. So on this slide, we have an example where overtime calculation is done. So this means that the certain percentage are calculated automatically and applied when employee fills out the timesheet. So employee don't need to calculate any specific overtime requirements beforehand. Employee just need to go in the system and put the actual time worked. So for example, employees on a work schedule for 8 hours, but employee has worked for say 10 hours. And you have a company policy that first 1 hour is paid, first one overtime hour is paid 105%, and next 2 to 4 hours are paid 110%. So that can be done within the business configuration, and system will take care of it. So employee don't have to calculate beforehand while putting the overtime hours. And then we have the pay type generation rules. So if you want to pay that overtime work by the employee with a certain calculation, that also can be built in the system, and it will create the pay components and store in the system. So it will be paid out in your payroll cycle. So this whole process can be automated based on the logic we can build in the system. One of the important feature of this time tracking module is the integration with the time terminals. So now this new functionality offers the APIs where we can integrate the third-party terminals with SuccessFactor, and we have a specific OData APIs available within SuccessFactor, and there is no limitation that what kind of time terminals you need to use for the companies. So you can use any time terminals, but that needs to extract the data in specific format, which can feed into the APIs which are available in SuccessFactor. So there is a specific format available, and we can use the tools like Integration Center, or we can automate that thing directly from the time terminal software to SuccessFactor. So it's now very easy for customers to integrate that with the time tracking module now. Yeah, next slide. And as Nicola explained, this one platform SuccessFactor can handle the end-to-end process now. So if customer is using EC payroll system, then it will be a real-time integration within SuccessFactors. So whatever time data, the absence data or attendance data is captured in the system will be evaluated within time management module, and that data will be sent to EC payroll for the calculation of payroll. So as you can see in this chart, um, all the data will be stored on one platform, will be evaluated, and can be used for different purposes, like for payroll process, for analytics, and submitting all the third party reportings. So before I go to the system demo, there are three key personas in SuccessFactor time management module, which performs the activities within the process. So for employees within time management, employee can view their own data on which work schedule they are on. They can see their holiday calendar. If employees coming from a specific location and country, they will have different holiday calendars. So employee can see their holiday calendars and book their leaves based on the accrual, which is based on the country. So self-service is available for within SuccessFactors, and the UI is very simple for the employees to go through and update their absence data as well as the attendance data. Then we have administrators. So when there are integrations running, when there are need to run the evaluation, the administrator role is very important, who will have access to modify the data and to run the evaluations, and also run some of the reports which are needed for the third-party systems or maybe EC payroll systems. So administrator role will have additional access where they can perform multiple duties for the data processing. And the third role we have for manager, where manager have access to their team's data, where employee manager can see the absences in team absence calendar. Then there are some approval processes if needed. We can put which will go through the approval process of manager, and then it will be available for the evaluation. So these three roles are very important within time management module, which plays a specific part in the process.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, so John, now I will take control of the screen so I can show the success factor screen. And just let me know once you see my screen.
Yeah. It's perfect, Ahmed. Yeah.
It's perfect. Okay. So to start with the system demo of time tracking, first thing I will explain you is the some of the quick actions available within time management. So when employee log into SuccessFactor web browser, employee will have this access on home page, and there are some quick actions available for time management process. So first one, you can see clock time, where when employee clicks that, employee can capture the start time, end time, and the break time within clock time. Then the second tile available for request time off. This is available for booking your absences. So if employee wants to go on vacation, employee can access their specific absence type and capture the absence dates. Then we have third tile available for team absences. So before booking any vacation, if you want to see who is on vacation during that period, employee can access this tile and see that, okay, this period, so many employees are absent, and then employee can plan their leaves. And then we have a timesheet where employee can go and book their working hours. So these are the four tiles related with time management module. But today we are going to focus on clock time and my timesheet tiles. So the first thing is first demo I'm going to show you is manually capturing your clock in and clock out time. So there are two possibilities where employee can come and capture those data. One is through web browser and second is through your mobile app. So on mobile app, you will have same kind of view where you can just click on mobile app and capture your clock in and clock out. But if you're doing that through web browser, then this is the tile you will do it. So as you can see that once I click on clock time, this employee has already clocked in around 7:11 a.m. So if employee wants to go on a break, then employee can click on clock time and capture that, okay, this is my lunch time, and now I'm going on a break. So employee don't have to provide any specific time. This system will capture that specific time from your system and say that employee is on break now. So if I click on break again or clock time again, and I'm coming back from the break, I just need to click on clock time and clock in. So whenever you come back, you can click on clock time. You're back for the work. There is another way of capturing that same data through my timesheet. So if I go to my timesheet, now you can see that this clock in and clock out I have captured through homepage as an employee. But now I can see that for Monday, my clock terminal was not working in the organization. So I want to come and create that time which I have done through timesheet. So what I can do is, as an employee, I can just click on create and click on the time I came to office, clock in, and then I can select the time event type. Now you can see that in time event type, I have only two options. One is clock in and break time. I don't see clock out time. The system is so smart that if you don't have the clock in time, it will not show the time event type as clock out. So it is reducing the errors in the system by by hiding the clock out time in the system. So if I clock in and click missing punch, and I can say that terminal was dead. So yesterday terminal was not working, so I'm capturing this manually and submit. Once I submit that, I just need to quickly refresh my timesheet and it will appear that time as clock in. Now I need to capture the clock out time. So I came around 7:31 in the office and then I am leaving around 4 o'clock in the evening. So now you can see that because I have a clock in time in the system allows me to select clock out time. Okay. So once you put clock in and clock out time, I will just quickly refresh that and show you how it looks in the system. So system now calculates, okay, so employee can visited office 7:31 and left office around 4:33 in the evening. So total recorded time is 9 hours 2 minutes. And based on the requirement from the organization, how you're going to treat those extra hours, system can build in a certain way that extra hours work can be paid out to the employees based on the overtime rule, or it can be used as a time off in lieu and can be given as an extra vacation to the employees. So there are different ways in which you can handle this situation. So this is the example of how employee can capture their events when the integration is not working. So when the integration is working, what happens is you clock in and clock out at the terminals, and same data will be sent to SuccessFactor using SF APIs, and it will be captured in this time events. So it's the same process. It's just the terminal and the APIs which makes the process automated and sends the data to the system for the evaluation. So this is one way of capturing the data. The another way is to automate the data through time terminals. So now what I will do is we have created the timesheet entries, and I will show you the another way of yeah. So I just wanted to show you this scenario as well. So whenever employee tries to do something manually here and the dates are not correct. So now system says that this time is in future. So I'm trying to capture something which is not happened in reality. So system restricts those kind of entries to make sure that there are no errors in time evaluation, and only allows you to update the data which is which has happened in the past and not in the future. So this is one of the way you can have the data captured. So this is a very simple scenario that explains how the self-service works in time tracking module. The another example I'm going to show you is from the administrator point of view, where employee I will just show where employee has updated some time data, and time administrator wants to capture the data on behalf of the employee or modify some of the data. So now I have logged in as an admin in SuccessFactors system, and what I want to do is I want to access the data for one of the employees. So you just put the name and the date range to access the data as an admin. And then admin can view and see what are the data is been captured in the past for this time range. And if admin wants to create some data for the employees, he can create that data as well. So one of the example we have is this employee. So one of the scenario we can take that during the 3rd week of May, employee has missed to capture some of the data. So now admin is trying to capture that data for this employee. So let's say employee is logged in at 7 in the morning. So you can see that now admin has created the data for the employee, but it is not paired. So it doesn't have clock in, clock out time. So we need to create the whole entry to be available for the evaluation. So admin needs to add some of the data which completes the entry for that day. So this is how employee or admin can update the data on behalf of the employee. The next scenario I'm going to show you is relevant with the approval workflow. And for that, what I'm going to do is instead of updating the time. So instead of updating the clock in, clock out, I'm going to submit the timesheet. Once employee submits the timesheet, what happens is it changes the status to be approved. That means this timesheet is not approved and available for time evaluation. But if I log in as a manager, let me just quickly log in. I'm just switching the screen to the manager screen now. Once I log in as a manager, manager will have a new tile available on the approvals section where manager can see the details. And see how much time it is captured during this week. And either approve or decline the workflow. So now I can see that this timesheet is not fully updated for the week. I can say that as a manager, timesheet is not updated and decline the workflow. So once I decline the workflow, it will go back to the employee on an email saying that the timesheet is not fully updated and needs to be updated by the employee. So if I refresh that. So now you can see that once I refresh it, it shows shows the status of the timesheet as declined. So employee needs to initiate that process again to submit the timesheet. So this is one of the example how we can handle the approval process within the organization. There are different requirements from the organization and can be built using business logic, business rules. Based on overtime calculation or any specific group you want the approvals for, that we can define based on the requirement. Yes, John, back to you. I covered the demo part from the employee manager and the admin point of view.
Great. Thank you for that, Ahmed. It's very insightful. I think we all got a flavor of what it looks like. I think it's also fair to say that there's a lot more to it. I've got quite a few questions, and I'm conscious of the time, so I'm just going to get straight into them, if that's all right with you, Ahmed, Nikolai. The first one is, and thank you for the question, Louise, can SuccessFactors time tracking module be integrated with external systems? Nikolai? Or Ahmed, would you like to answer that one?
I can answer that question.
Go ahead, Ahmed.
Yeah. So yes, the answer is yes. It can be integrated with the external system. There are OData APIs available within SuccessFactor, which can be exposed for the third-party system, where we can send the data from the external system to SuccessFactor, and it will be stored in one of the entity called terminals within SuccessFactor, and it can be processed for time evaluation.
Right, thank you. Another question, and this one is from Helena. Thanks for the question, Helena. Is SuccessFactors time tracking module, or sorry, does the SuccessFactors time tracking module need a separate app on the mobile devices? Nikolai?
Yes, no, it does not. It is all native in the SuccessFactors application on the mobile app. So you can continue to use the SuccessFactors app to allow time registration from mobile.
Right. Another question, and this one is from Mikhail. Thank you, Mikhail. This is probably for you, Ahmed, I would think. Do you need to have time off implemented before using time tracking?
Yeah, sorry, Yasun. Nope, it is not needed, but most of the customer, what we do is we have a time off, so you get whole solution within SuccessFactor, because the attributes or what we are going to configure for the timesheet are required for time off as well. But it is not necessary to have like the whole process available for time off, but you can have a only timesheet solution implemented. But the prerequisite for time management is Employee Central module. So you should have an Employee Central module in place for having this time management functionality.
Right. A question from Nina. A really good question, actually. Nikolai, I think you probably have better visibility on this one. Is that do we have any customers that are using time tracking at the moment?
So we have multiple customers in various scenarios. So we have customers in Germany using time tracking for office-based employees. We also have customers using the terminal integration. So for factory-based employees, they punch in, punch out on the terminals, and that is then sent to time tracking and further on to Employee Central Payroll. We also have customers taking their leave processes or absence processes from SAP on-prem and moving to time off and continuing the replication with peer-to-peer from Employee Central time off to SAP for subsequent payroll processing. So already now we have a set of stories to tell. And yeah, if you'd like to learn more about those references, you can always reach out and we can set up a call.
Another question, and this one is from Sala. Thanks for the question. So, for employees that are off-site, Nikolai, how relevant is this to them? And I think this is probably, Sala's talking, I think, probably around mobile functionality and so forth.
Yeah, so there are, again, multiple options to record time on the go, you could say, of being offsite. You can either do it on desktop, mobile app, or via terminals. And time tracking also allows a GPS location-based possibilities. So you can also track from where did the employee actually work. Because in some countries, the legislation states that depending on where the employee worked, different time valuation should happen.
Great, thank you, Nikolai. I'm going to take two more questions. This one's for you, Ahmed. Typically speaking, the implementation for time tracking, what would the typical implementation timeline be, Ahmad?
Yeah, so the projects I have seen or worked on, it varies from 3 to 6 months, but based on the requirements we have and what is the scope of the project, but it can be achieved within 3 to 6 months.
And one last question, Nikolai, and this is also actually very much around, I suppose, implementation and timelines. Maria is working for a smaller organization who don't have a lot of internal resources. Is it resource heavy? Would they need a lot of external support to implement a solution like time tracking?
And that is a really good question, as time is typically a very local specific topic. However, with SAP best practice and Gavdi package solution, you can implement time off and time tracking with a package as a starting point, but ultimately also the end point. If you don't have complex requirements, you can use this package, and that decreases the resource involvement in the actual implementation because it is based on best practice, and then you can still run your SuccessFactors solution, and Gavdi can help manage that.
Right. One final question, sorry. Again, it's a very good question, Nikolai. It's from Stefan. Stefan is he's working for an organization in the Middle East, and he's just wondering around localization is the first point, and the second point is around compliance. Does time tracking, I guess, cater for all of those?
Time tracking does that. It comes with local specific time types for that specific country, and it fully supports compliance in terms of role-based permissions, authorization, audits, and GDPR compliance with regards to retention and purge.
Right. And that's it. I mean, we do have other questions that we will need to get back, and it's purely because I think of the volume of the questions, and I'm conscious of the time. I mean, firstly, from my perspective, thank you for everyone who's taken the time out this morning to attend sessions. I think it's fair to say a lot of this has been driven by customer demand. There does seem to be a huge interest in time management, more specifically time tracking at the moment. We've recently gone live with 2 or 3 projects in the Nordics, and people are, I think, genuinely interested in learning a little bit more. Nikolai, if I was to hand it back to you, maybe just for a final wrap up and a final note before we sign off in this morning's session.
Yeah, thank you, John, and thank you to everyone on the call for participating. I think this is a really interesting topic and is a trend where, at least when we talk to our customers and other organizations, is that now core HR is in place in SuccessFactors. Talent management might have been for a couple of years as well. And now is the time to take your time and potentially payroll to the cloud as well. And this is really a trend that is going on in terms of also we see regulatory requirements, for instance, from EU about recording working time, not only for factory workers, but also for office-based employees. And this, we think, will be the next big topic driving HR transformation within the time management domain.